You are now listening to Musings Behind the Creative. What's your passion? Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Musings Behind the Creative. I'm your host, Renata Dixon-Morsu, and on today's episode we have a fellow architect, and her name's Charlotte Shields, and I'd like Charlotte to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Charlotte, originally from Birmingham, moved to London to study architecture. Gosh, very long time ago now. And yeah, I've worked my way through the architectural corporate career. And recently, last year, I got made redundant and a new journey has begun for me.
All right, let's take it back to the start and go to origin stories. What was your initial sort of introduction into the creative industry?
So this is actually an odd one, and I'm sure many people will probably find this actually hilarious because originally I fell into architecture through my addiction to Sims.
Through your addiction to Sims?
Yeah,
Seriously?
The PC game Sims.
Okay, tell me.
So when I was younger, I used to stay up until all hours of the night playing Sims, and this was, gosh, now this is revealing my age, but this is going back to the days where you could pull out the internet from the wall.
Oh, dial up.
So I would be playing my Sims, and 11 o'clock in our house was lights out, so my dad would pull the internet out of the wall and my Sims would go off, and this would happen repeatedly. And one day my dad literally turned to me and was like, if you're gonna keep playing this game until ungodly hours of the night, you need to find a career out of it. So to resolve this problem, I googled what is Sims as a job,
right?
And architecture came up, and lo and behold, my dad held me to my word, and I became an architect.
Oh my god. Okay, so what would that have meant? How old were you when that happened?
Gosh, I must have been 6, 7, 8 years old.
So when you'd go to primary school, was there any translation between the two, or was like primary school just primary school for you and then home was Sims?
Well, actually, I would have said it's secondary school. It would have been secondary school because that was like MSN days and all of that. But I would say school was school. And then I got home and it was Sims. That was literally it. I mean, I'd play outside with my brother and sister, and then it would be Sims. That was literally it.
What's that? Does that fall into gaming?
Yeah, gaming. Yeah. So, but I wasn't allowed an Xbox, so that was literally my only gaming
way to get to it. Right. Okay.
And I think I just absolutely just loved creating the houses. Yeah. And there were so many cheat codes to get more money, so you could just create
How
the
much
best
did you
house
make?
ever.
No, how much did you make in the end?
Gosh, I was like getting millions to create like the best house. It was just insane. Like, you could choose the wallpaper, you could choose what walls, like you could have like pools in your back garden, like there was everything, and it was just all about having the different houses. So I would literally create one house. Yeah. I wasn't fussed about seeing what the families were going to be doing with their day-to-day life. So I'd hit that on speed. Yeah. And then I'd
you'd hit that on speed?
I'd hit it on speed. So then they could go to work, create more money and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. For me to spend to create an extension, right? And then I'd create a whole nother like house, but that would have a different design. So maybe one would be like modern, and then the other one would be gothic, and then another one would have like a Mediterranean feel. I just had so many different houses in Sims. It was just the best life ever. And they were all my houses, which was the best thing.
Did you ever get a point, I'm just curious, did you ever get a point where you could translate it to money?
No. Well, you could remove like walls and things and you'd get your £250 back for your wall, but...
Wait, in cash?
No, just in the game. So
no, that would have inspired me.
Just put it into something else. So I could, for example, delete a wall and I could buy chest of drawers. Right. Something like that, which I found quite boring, to be honest. I just wanted to build the best houses.
Okay, so did your at any point, did you start thinking a little bit more in depth in it and thinking, okay, how your family uses your home in relation to how you would decorate these spaces now for your characters?
Yeah, I did, and I kept on telling my dad that we needed to have renovation.
Yeah.
My dad was like, what is there to renovate? And I was like, we could do these with the doors, and the kitchen we could do like a whole new layout. And I just like did like loads of plans. Lo and behold, like 15 years later, when my dad actually took me seriously, we did do a renovation. I did get to design the kitchen, so that was amazing.
Your idea?
Yeah, and I designed the shed.
That is dope.
So there was many things that I actually got to implement into our house after the game of Sims, of seeing the different doors and stuff.
It's
I had
3
the Sims
o'clock.
like, well, this will be amazing if we had this door for our kitchen door.
Okay, and then what would you say were your mentors, or were there any movements at the time that inspired you? You know, because I guess you would have gone to college or did your A-levels. What was the trajectory from there? What did the courses impact how you were going to make that journey?
Yeah, I mean, when I was in school, obviously you pick your subjects, and then from that basis go into college. Obviously, being held to my word to study architecture, my parents were very keen on understanding what I actually needed to do in order to get onto the course. And I think then it was very profound that you had to do like physics or a chemistry, and you had to have maths, and then you had to have design base as well. Now, I'm not good at the sciences, but I listened to my parents.
Right.
And I put chemistry down. So I did chemistry for my A-levels, with graphics, art, what else was there? Photography as well I did.
Nice.
But a lot of it was the practical. I'm very much a practical person over theoretical. So it was that chemistry that I found really difficult. But I would say at that time, probably my parents were my mentors essentially, because I didn't have anyone in my family that I did architecture before. No one's come from the creative industry at all. So it was pretty much my parents, and I'm firstborn, so I was their little project.
Oh, bless.
I guess. And I was doing something they'd obviously not necessarily fully known about, and things like that. So yeah, I would say that they were pretty much my mentors. I had my art teacher as well, and she like influenced me to start looking into different buildings and things like that in terms of art. I really just enjoyed drawing people.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really enjoyed drawing people. So it wasn't until my architectural career when I actually started drawing buildings, which probably sounds so odd to say now, but I was so in love with everyone's features.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just drawing.
And you didn't
those.
actually study art?
Yeah, so I studied art. I studied art A-level.
Okay.
So I did art A-level? Yeah, and I did art in college as well. Yeah, so I did both. And yeah, but it was all around people. But I would say my art teacher was my mentor, definitely my parents. But yeah, I'd say those two both.
And so did you ever feel any type of like pressure on your creative journey? In the early days, maybe.
The pressure, I guess, I would say the pressure didn't necessarily come from the creative journey per se of studying architecture and choosing my topics and all this sort of stuff in college. It was more so making sure I got the chemistry. That was the main pressure, because I knew there was a massive exam coming. And, I just don't like exams, so that was not up my street. So that was the massive pressure, because it was like, you have to have chemistry to get onto this course, and I was like, art and maths and photography and graphics, that's me. Chemistry, not so much. So that was the massive pressure, and I guess it was the pressure to make sure I got the grades to get into uni. And I got all conditional offers, so I had nothing unconditional. So it was purely based on my grades.
Damn.
But that didn't sink in until after I did the exams.
I hated exams so bad. Oh my God.
It didn't sink into after, so I think I was not under the pressure. I was really enjoying like my studying and everything like that. And then it was after I did the exams, and I was like, all of these actually count, and I better get these. Like all my predicted grades were like, everything was spot on. I was guaranteed to get into all the unis. But yeah, I think it was the realisation afterwards how much college actually meant in terms of the trajectory of my life, let's say. But it wasn't until afterwards, and then obviously getting the grades, which wasn't fun for me.
It wasn't?
No, because I missed out on every single grade by 1 or 2 marks.
Stop.
So I didn't get into any of the universities of my choice.
Bro.
And I was the one that ended up going through clearing. Yeah, I'll never forget the day. My mum rubbing my back whilst I'm crying. I was calling every university with my teddy in my hand, obviously. My best friend on her phone as well, making sure we get Charlotte into university, because she got her conditional offer to go and do English, and I chose architecture.
And all the unis were like,
no,
by 2.
We can't accept you. We need these grades. And I was like, but in total I'm only 7 marks off.
Jesus, nah, the pressure.
It was a lot. That was when the pressure really sunk in. It was that moment, you know, when you just stand in a space and you can see the whole world spinning. I was like, this is the end. This is the end. This is the end.
You.
But I got in.
What uni did you end up going to?
I ended up going to South Bank.
Really?
South Bank Uni.
Oh, bless that.
They accepted me. Oh, South Bank, thank you so much for the start of my career.
Did they request that you do an interview with them and they see portfolio, or were they just happy with the grades?
Just happy with the grades.
Fantastic.
They accepted me straight in, no interview. Told me the start date, and I was there with a big grin on my face. Didn't expect to come to London. That was not in the plans. I just wanted to stay around the Midlands, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, there was no plan to end up in this city. No plan whatsoever. But I ended up here. And I'm still here.
So how did you financially navigate that move? Was that your first time away from home?
It was, and you know what? Again, I didn't think of the finances. Nothing. I was just like, going to uni. Was told student finance. So I was like, please just give me the highest amount, because I'm going to need some money. I don't have anything. Thankfully, I had been saving since I was 16, but I hadn't had a job ever. Never worked a day in my life.
Seriously?
From 16. Birmingham's very difficult to get like those Saturday jobs that everyone absolutely had. Every other person I've spoken to, they had the Saturday job. Not me. I struggled. I mean, I did a bit of tutoring for my church and things like that, but not a solid actual job. Didn't get one of those until I actually moved to London, and that did not take me long at all.
So what was your first job?
My first job was working in Las Iguanas on the Thames.
Las Iguanas?
Yeah.
Wait, you were waitressing and architecturing?
Yeah, so I did my first year I worked and I studied architecture at the same time.
How many hours did you do?
Gosh, I would do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the studio, finish on a Friday, go straight to my shift at work Friday evening, do a 6 until 12 or 6 until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, then be back in again on the Saturday, do like an 11 till close, that was a double shift, and then back on the Sunday doing an evening or a morning shift, so, and then back to uni on the Monday.
So my question is, where was the time to do the work?
Oh, I found time. Those studio days had to be very productive for me. So when everyone was congregating, talking about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it.
You're there. You're there
I'm there
doing
to
it.
work. I'm working. There was no chit-chat. Obviously, we had a little bit of chit-chat, gossip, chicken and chips at the chip shop, all of that sort of stuff. But had to be very, like...
Hands-on.
Yeah, hands-on, very productive, because I knew I didn't have the weekends, or I might have like 6 hours on a Sunday. But that time I really wanted to rest and sleep. So there was no weekend time to do coursework. Yeah.
So then how many hours were you putting in the week? What would be the latest you'd leave uni?
Now, I'm probably the odd case for this. I didn't ever do sleepless nights. I never did.
You're a unicorn.
Anything like that.
And you were working.
Yeah, and
as well.
I was working, but I think that was what helped me be so time efficient. And it's actually crazy looking back, because that was my first job ever. So how I learned how to be time efficient, only the Lord knows. But that's literally what happened. I would say I was probably in the studio from 9 o'clock, and then until the later I was in the studio on a standard day would probably be 7 to 9 o'clock.
Okay.
But if I had a deadline, I'd probably be there until like 10, 11. But I set a timer on my phone to know that I'd at least have 7 to 8 hours sleep.
Okay.
That was critical
standard.
to me.
Yeah. Okay.
My alarm would go off and be like, it's time to leave, you've got to go to sleep.
Shoot.
Because I need to be back
And you
in.
wouldn't waste no time.
No. Whether I finish what I'm doing or not, sleep's important. Go home, sleep, get back into the studio at 9 o'clock. And I just found that to be so much more productive because I was able to sleep.
Okay, so in your first year undergrad, did you have to work with CAD or without CAD?
First year undergrad, no. That wasn't... Technology wasn't a thing.
No, I just want everyone to get a really clear picture of what you're saying that you did here.
I'm thinking back.
No, because me, I was not doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was looking for work, but I weren't trying to do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was trying to live on a crookback on what's it called, a desktop. What was it? The drawing board, and trying to figure that out.
That was in my student room.
No, you came down to London and said, yeah, got this on tap. What? Me? I was genuinely struggling.
Yeah, my desk in my room for my student accommodation was probably like this size. I remember half it was taken up from a drawing board.
Mate.
When I started, I had a laptop, but I didn't know about Photoshop. I didn't know about all these things, so I really had to learn a lot of the stuff on the job. CAD wasn't a thing. It was all hand drawing. I remember drawing all those elevations, the plans, the perspectives, the 3-point perspective.
No, I'm hearing everything that you're saying.
All by hand.
No, but then that means that you really had a solid foundation in art to be able to do that. That's why...
I guess so. Now looking back, I probably would say so, yeah. But at the time, I was just doing what I needed to do.
The tutors were just like, oh, you need a plan, and you just knew, okay, I know what a plan is.
Well, I would ask. Okay. I had many questions because I had never seen a scale ruler before. That the triangle thing?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why was that like that? So I had many questions from my tutors at uni, like, because I used to put it on the page, and I'll be like, why is the meter here? But a meter is like this. So it took a while for my brain to actually get over the idea that you can scale up and scale down, because that was never a thing in art. You drew. You just drew. You have someone's face and you just put it on the paper and you draw how big it is. It's not. There's no scale. So it was like getting over that sort of stuff. That is what took a lot of time. But I guess I really had to just go home and implement a lot of things.
So in terms of, I know how long a drawing takes to do. You're in the middle of your concept, let's say your first year. You're in your concept design. And the reason why I'm asking this is because I had 2 first-year students that I just recently interviewed, and they talked about the whole process. And I know for us it's a little bit further in the past.
Yeah.
But from talking to them and like hearing how they had to work out the mechanics of it all. You're telling me Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you were working. You have a floor plan, medium to small scale build. You have to draw that on like at least an A1, A0 sheet. Draw it with enough time to see your tutor the following time you see that tutor, to be able to get the feedback, go home, start another drawing or start another drawing in studio, and then take it home. I just want people to just really get that idea. And so that's to say that you were technically a little bit fast at drawing and getting all of these.
I guess so, but a lot of it came down to, and now I can say, now coming out the other end, client expectations. Like my tutor was essentially my client at that time. So it's like asking them, like, when's the deadline? When do I have to do this by? And if they say, oh, okay, well, we want you to work on plan section elevations for your design, but we don't want that for another month. But so just come in and show us the progress. I knew, okay, I can split the drawing up and then I can just
do it
work
section
like
by
that.
section,
rather than getting home and being all faffy and then thinking, oh my gosh, I need to do this, I've asked for this, it's got to be done for next week. No, I think and that's probably one of the things which I guess I didn't have the fortune of when I was studying, is that everyone was doing all these iterations and like really like thinking about things and having a great time, and I was just like, we've got 3 times to do this, otherwise you're not getting it. So I need to be very methodical and logical about what I'm designing, what I'm thinking about, and produce the work. Because I didn't have any other time, and I refused to do any sleepless nights because sleep was a priority.
So would you say, so let's talk about maybe the second year. You get in, you're now proficient on CAD.
Well, in second year, that's when they started teaching us CAD, but they didn't teach us AutoCAD, they taught us Rhino.
Right.
So I never learned AutoCAD until stepping out into the real world. Well, technically, I learned it when I was doing like the printing, when you do your 3D printing.
Oh, yeah.
But that wasn't like properly using it.
No,
So I used Rhino all through my second year and third year to draw and do 3D, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
But I wasn't working anymore.
Right. Okay. So when did you quit?
Second year. I quit after my first year. What did I do after my first year? Did I go travelling? I might have gone travelling. And then after that was second year, third year. We went on holiday. I don't think I travelled. Can't get the years right now. But second and third year, I didn't work. I dropped that because I was just like, I've saved up now, so if anything happens,
you'll be all right.
I'll be all right.
Okay.
I can buy a kettle.
And on the financial side, how many uni trips did you end up having to go in the 3 years?
Where did I go in the 3 years? I don't think.
All your projects mostly London-based?
Yeah, it was all London-based. They did offer Erasmus, but that would have been sponsored for. And I was too scared to go. And now I look back and I just wish I could just shake my younger self and be like, go.
Oh,
I was so scared.
Really?
And I don't know why, because I came from Birmingham, I was in London by myself at 18.
Yeah.
Don't know why I was scared to take myself somewhere else for like.
And then you still went travelling at some point.
And then I still went travelling. So I think that was you've got to build your courage up of thing. Yeah. Looking back, I really wish. I don't have any regrets, but I do wish that I would have taken up that opportunity. That would have been in Romania.
Damn.
Yeah.
That would have been some interesting projects out there.
Yeah, really interesting. But I sorted that out when I did my masters, so I got to travel then with architecture, so that's all fine.
So after undergrad, did you do your 1 year working practice, or did you want to go straight into uni? How did you work that?
I didn't want to go straight into uni just because finances. And I wasn't at that point, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to stay in London or move back to Birmingham. I had done my 3 years undergraduate living in student halls, and I hadn't actually rented or anything like that. And everyone was telling me it's expensive. So I was like, do I want to stay in London? Should I go back to Birmingham? And I was like, I can't go back to my parents. So London it is. So I stayed in London. I applied for jobs in both. But London was popping. So I got a job here, although it was very different because this would have been just not too long after the financial crisis, so things were still very slow. Yeah. Well, I finished uni 2014 or 2016, 2014, I think. I think so. Yeah, 2014.
Still would have been crawling out of that.
And it was very, very slow. And when I say really slow, I mean I felt like getting a job was the job.
Oh, bless.
So every day I had my spreadsheet.
Fantastic.
I was tracking everybody that I was emailing. I think I must have emailed and spoke to and applied to 75 jobs. I had 5 interviews and I had 1 job offer.
Goddamn.
There was no option. I took the job. And it was my best job. It was the best. I had so much fun, absolutely loved working there. And I did 2 years placement because I loved it so much. And I got really involved working there, and it was just learning so much. And I was just a sponge, and I was just like, I want more knowledge. So I just stayed there and really loved it, loved the architecture. It was literally everything. It brought Sims to reality. That was the moment where I was like, oh, it's Sims in real life. Not 3D, because we hadn't made it there in the architectural world per se. But I was on AutoCAD. And I was doing my little Sims thing and I could understand everything. That was my little dream moment. I was like, yay, I made it.
And the practice she works for, what was their specialism? What was their focus?
So they focused in prime residential, so high-end, very high-end, talking gold leaf high-end, really lovely stuff. Restoration, grade listed buildings, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful architecture. So I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was amazing.
And so the team, what was your first day like?
First day, I remember this. Came to my desk and there was a CAD manual.
Oh, bless.
And I sat there and I was reading through it. Now, I'm so logical. So this was like a dream for me because you've literally given me a Bible.
She's been handed this book.
Yeah, I've been handed this book. It's my Bible for how I'm meant to work, how I'm meant to use the software, how I'm meant to save things, everything. I was like, this is amazing. This is a bit of me. Everyone needs this.
So bad.
And that was it. I just read the book, did the work. It was amazing. So my first day, they said to me, have a read through this, open up these files. They had like a example project. It was amazing. So I could literally click on the file, look at the example project, read the book. What was in the book was on the computer. I could, the words were on the screen, I could really relate to what I was doing. It was amazing. I was like, but this wasn't at uni.
Yeah.
This wasn't at uni. We didn't know about CAD manuals at uni, or we'd have to, save things in a certain way, and have folders for this, superseded. Why did no one tell me about superseded?
What is SS?
We just had final. Superseded would have been amazing at uni. There was just it was really good. The first day was sit down, read through the carriage manual. Don't start working on anything until you've actually understood how things work, how we work as a practice, everything like that. Understand the example project. Look at it, read it, practice, play around in the software, because that was the first time I was using AutoCAD. So I equally wanted to also feel comfortable for myself, because I knew the next task was to draw.
And at that point, you were conversant with CAD at that point?
Yeah, I would say so. In my mind, I look at one screen of one software, I look at the other, and I'm like, if it's like this, and it's same but different. So I was like, Rhino, AutoCAD,
no difference.
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
Instead of blue, we use yellow. Instead of red, we use grey. Makes sense. And we've got a book to tell me why.
Do you know what I love while you're talking? I'm just seeing this air of anxiety-free, very internally calm and regulated. Yeah. And you literally manage to work like this.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. This shows me it's possible.
It is possible. I had a really good time. those 2 years working in that practice, I would say was very calm. Like, don't get me wrong, we had deadlines and things like that. Again, it was all managed. I mean, compliments to like management and directors and stuff like that, because they knew how to manage the team and how to get everything done. And I think because my attitude towards undergraduate was sleep is a priority, I would never work in here like too late, I then took that into my job as well. So it was very much like, okay, you're telling me 9 until 5:30 to get this done. I have 1 hour window to eat. These are the hours, let's get it done. So it was that kind of mentality, which is I also already had from uni, because I didn't have the weekends to be like, let's spread it over like 70 hours.
No, you ain't got that time.
I was pretty much working to like 45-hour weeks, 40-hour weeks anyway. So for me, it was more so just understanding and learning from other people on the team who were like part 2 and part 3s, how long it took for them to do work. So then I was like, even though I'm part 1, you're part 2 doing this, I need to be doing it as quick as you are, because you're leaving on time and I want to be you. So it was that, very much that, and then just asking questions when I needed to and just getting it done, not like staring out the window.
Panicking, how do I get this door frame designed?
Rather than panic, just ask. I just asked so many questions. I was like, hi, excuse me again.
And what would you say you were happy with the pay that you were getting at the time in terms of the relation to be able to take care of yourself and your rent and stuff like that?
I'm quite frugal, and my first job was waitressing. So then having my architectural salary, I was like, this is a dream. I'm getting paid. I'm really getting paid here. This is incredible. I was like, I can save and I can do this, and I could go on holiday and stay for holiday and do all those things, you know, backpacking thing that people do, save for that. So yeah, I felt really happy with my salary when I first got my job, because
was it what you wanted?
And the only thing I had to compare it to was being a waitress.
Yeah, so evidently better than being a waitress. It was
evidently better than being a waitress. Minimum wage then was not how minimum wage is now. I think it's gone up by 3 times compared to what I was earning then per hour. But yeah, I was really happy with the salary then, and thankfully, unbeknownst to me when I first started my career, my company that I was working for then when I was a part 1, they had a really good pay structure.
Nice.
So each year you had a review, and you would get an increase by inflation.
Oh, nice.
So I was super happy as a part 1. Each year it would go up, and I just thought that was life. This is what happens as an adult. Each year your money goes up. What better way to enter into adulthood than this?
I love it.
I was beaming.
So at what point did you start sort of maybe focusing in and saying this is the type of architect you want to be?
I think because I've always loved Sims, and because my first job was so rewarding in terms of the feeling it just gave me, I just knew residential was for me. I knew houses, any type of house, tall, long, slim, terrace, semi-detached, developments, like I just knew houses was for me. And when I was younger, I always used to watch like Homes Under the Hammer. Yeah. So I'd watch Homes Under the Hammer and just see how they've completely transformed a house. And like there was lots of people on there like obviously doing property flipping and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, that looks so amazing. So if I can design it, that would be like the dream. And it was, and so because I had that vision in my head, I just knew that that's what I wanted to do. So I didn't really look at any other type of architecture. It was literally just, I've seen what I love, and that's
what
it.
You want to do.
Yeah.
So then did that dictate, because usually they tend to say that where you do your part 2 is more important than where you do your part 1.
Yeah.
And generally, depending on what the design studio you decide to pick while in said architecture university also dictates or shapes your mind into the trajectory you were going. So how did that look like for you? Where did you do your part 2? And
So for me, I did my part 2 at London Met, the CAS. And I chose the CAS because of the design studio with Maurice Mitchell, with the they do humanitarian architecture. I'm a very big fond traveller. Absolutely love travelling, always have been going on holiday with my family since I was younger, going away once, twice a year. And I think I also, I guess looking back now, always wanted to incorporate architecture into a lifestyle. And I really, really loved the look of Unit 6 at the CAS because they were able to go away and look at a whole different country and then build something using that culture, everything like that. And it just resonated with me. I guess bringing in the Sims, bringing in the travels, and then bringing it together, it just said, that is me. And I guess the humanitarian side of it comes from, in the sense that my family is originally from Jamaica. So obviously going on holiday there and seeing how architecture and buildings are developed in Jamaica, and trying to understand how architecture and buildings are developed in different countries. When I saw Unit 6, I was like, this is amazing because I can learn something completely new. This isn't something that I'm going to necessarily be able to touch on in practice because a lot of it is UK architecture. And that really made the decision for me to go with London Met and the CAS, because I really wanted to do Unit 6, and that was the only reason why I went there, really, because it just spoke out to me. So yeah, I ended up going there.
And you got into your chosen studio?
So I applied the first time. So I did 1 year working. I applied, didn't get into the CAS. Then continued working, did another year, applied again to the CAS, and they took me. And I didn't get into my studio for the first time when I went there. I got into doing master planning. Right. So looking at zooming all the way out, so not typical for architecture at all. So zooming all the way out, which again works nicely in the sense of I would never necessarily, in an architectural sense, because it's so building focused, get that in practice. So again, I was really quite happy to go in and do the master planning unit at the CAS, and then for my final year I did Unit 6, which I was really happy about. Really happy about.
So how did that sort of cement your architectural knowledge? What was your project focus on in final year?
In final year, so this is like the best year, I think, in studying.
Really?
Everyone always talks about their final year being like the worst. And I had such a great time at uni. I think it's because I prioritised sleep. Obviously. So I had just a great time. I had a really good time. My final year, this was focused around, I don't know if you remember the refugee crisis, with the gates closing and everything like that, and a lot of people getting stuck in Greece. So we actually went out to Greece and looked at the crisis that was happening there, and I think it was just, for me, it's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This is things that you've seen on the news and all the sad images of people getting like washed up at sea and not making it on their journey. And I actually got the chance to go be in an area which had the refugee camps. We could peek through the holes in and look at and things like that, and actually see I guess, the other side of the fence and the actual reality. Like, obviously, you see things on the news and the media, but you never see it face value and how it actually impacts people on a larger scale that you just can't put into words. So yeah, I got to go out to Greece. The area that I focused on was Exarchia in Greece. And when I was out there, I actually met a young girl who had done the trip, and she had actually showed me her whole documented trip on her phone.
Oh, bless.
Yeah, so...
That's research right there.
Yeah. So I got to put that all into my portfolio. And it was insane because she was showing me the videos of her in the boat with her family, like everything. And she got caught at one of the borders, and they were put in a refugee prison.
Damn.
Yeah, so she had all the pictures, everything. And it was just one of those moments where, she invited me into the house. I sat down, we had, a cup of tea, and she was telling me everything. And it was just one of those moments I was actually sitting there thinking, one, I'm so grateful for the life that I have and have lived, but B, how am I able then to give back to this person? I now have an opportunity. I'm not an architect at that point, so I couldn't do anything with that at that stage, but in the sense of what is it that I can do at this moment in time to make someone else's life better? And from an architectural point of view, that's what you always try and do with buildings, right?
Yeah.
But from a humanitarian point of view, that's why I absolutely love this unit, because you got to go that level deeper and actually focus on the people and how you can actually impact a person who then would be using your building that you're going to design in your lovely
bourgeoisie.
Yeah. So yeah, we got talking, and she said that she wanted to be a fashion designer.
Oh, beautiful.
So we're working with an NGO out there, put everything together and organised a fashion class. We found a workshop to do it in. So we did all of that. And she got to design her logo on a t-shirt and everything. Her face was just ecstatic.
Beaming.
And just looking back now, I'm just to be able to do that at just a meeting in the street, and we bumped into each other, and I've been able to impact someone's life. That's the kind of thing that I want to do in architecture as well, on whichever level that I can do it on. That was the fulfillment for me, and actually being able to do that. So then when I was able to obviously come off the trip from Greece, go back into studying and everything like that, I was actually able to think of her family, other people that I'd met and interviewed whilst I was out in Greece, and apply those people and actually put that into my design of how they would use my building, how they would be able to build and everything like that. So I designed basically a cross-pollination university.
Nice.
Where the locals, immigrants and migrants all worked together within the building and to build it. So using the typical Polytechnic here, hopefully I've said that right, building in Greece, they then use brick and block to do their walls and everything like that for how they wanted their studio spaces to be for fashion, for example, or IT or this, that and the other. And had different campuses, and that was my scheme essentially, all focused off this one meeting and what I could bring to the area to help people like the person that I met, and it was just absolutely incredible.
What was your feedback from your tutors in that whole design process? Because I'm getting gas just listening.
My tutors loved it. I think they really wanted us to hone in on the fact of, yes, obviously architecture, but equally, what are you doing in architecture to help, and how are you, what are you facilitating essentially? And then obviously it got to the technical stage in the sense of how are you going to build this? But yeah, the feedback was really good. It was really good. I absolutely loved my tutor then, and I guess again that's probably why I really enjoyed uni. I really enjoyed my tutors, especially my final year tutors. They were just amazing. the feedback was really good, and it was again very like logical and methodology. You know what I'm saying?
I know, but now you're gonna have me say it wrong as well.
Methodical.
There you go.
It's very methodical with how like you would do things and what work they wanted you to produce. And once I obviously had the idea from coming back from the trip, it was more so, how can you portray this through your portfolio? So although yes, you have your typical plan sections, elevations, everything like that, it was more so, how are you going to get the message of what you're feeling, this encounter that you had, and then portray that in your building? Yeah. So my, like, for example, what do you call it when the concept was all around chance encounters? So I had this chance encounter with the person that I met in Greece. So I then needed to incorporate that in my building. So I had this wild staircase and it was bright red in my building. Yeah. And it was all focused on the best place to meet or bump into people would be on a staircase, because you awkwardly have to like step to the right or step to the left, and you're like, encounter. So it was all focused around that and how you can just bump into people and get to know each other. And I wanted that within my building so that people could connect and get to know each other the same way I did and had that feeling. So it was just trying to get feelings and what I had come across in Greece into a design, and then how to portray that through a drawing in the best way possible, which was quite tricky, but I think I nailed it. Nice.
I think I'm going to have to put it up on the green screen so people can see it.
Yeah, I had a really good time. It was amazing. That was my best project, and I really enjoyed that project. Yeah.
So you finished your part 2 and part 1 with no sleep issues, no pressure at crits, no bad experiences in terms of like toxic atmospheres. You are a snow bunny.
I think I just had this happy-go-lucky attitude and everything was great. So everyone just had to be great.
So then when you finished at London Met, we're both actually alumni on both unis, just the flip side, which is so dope. So where did you end up working for your part 2, and what was the employment process like? So you 70-40 applications down on the first side.
Yeah.
Second stage.
And then second stage, that was a lot easier. And yeah, I started using recruiters at that point just to help me with, because I was like, I can't be doing 75 again.
You did 75, I did 146, mate. With Excel spreadsheet, you got 5 people, I got 0. So you were doing good.
So I just thought, recruiters know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Let's speak to some.
You are now listening to Musings Behind the Creative. What's your passion?